So as you guys are thinking about the big picture, you're thinking of the arc, you're looking for plot holes, you're looking for inconsistent details. I have several inconsistencies. I can't tell you where they are, but I know I can tell you that they are there, because as I'm writing, I was just like, wait a minute, Trina, that's not right. That's not the character's name. Tina, that's what it was. I have like 3 or 4 chapters where I named the other character Trina, and I'm like, it's supposed to be Tina. So that's an inconsistency I'm going to need to have corrected. So going into that, you're looking for these types of inconsistencies within the story. Mark them down. Every little detail. This is the part of a developmental edit. This is honestly why it costs so much and why it takes so much time, is because you have to get down its nitty gritty detail stuff. It's not grammar. It's not punctuation. It's not, finding the duplicate words. You'll find all of that, but that's not what a developmental edit is at its core. So just kind of keep that in mind as you think about going and doing your own developmental edit. You have to look at the structure. You have to have given yourself time away from it in order to actually see it. If you're sending it off to betas, give them 2 or 3 weeks as a deadline. Don't just be like, yeah, whenever you get it back is fine. No, 3 weeks. And then depending on the size of the book, obviously. And if there's holidays, let's be honest. Give yourself that time away. Work on another project. Work on something else that is still creative. It's just not that book. So that way, when you come back to it and they give you fresh feedback, you're like, okay, all right, I need to take a good, hard look at this. So that would be my recommendations as far as authentic storytelling. The authenticity comes from being consistent. It's acknowledging that you don't really know what's best for your story in the first draft until you've gotten additional feedback and multiple pairs of eyes on it. Assume you're the idiot and that you don't know what you're doing. And that will allow you to actually receive the feedback and sift through it more, because then you're not offended by it. Guys, if I was offended by as many people told me to just completely scrap my my illustrated cover and start all over again, then I would just be a puddle of tears huddled in a corner somewhere, rocking back and forth. They're like, this is garbage, just redo it. And I was like, thank you so much for your unwanted opinion. I appreciate it deeply, and I have thus cast it aside. So you guys will be able to do the same thing. That's all I'll say on that. Any other follow-ups to that? No, I just stunned you guys with my brilliance.
Yeah, I mean, I have a note on specifically what you said about prepare for the feedback. Like, it's not, writing is not rocket science, and it's not an exact science, right? So people will have opinions. So it's part of the job and it's part of the deal. So as much, it may sound harsh, I may sound harsh, but that's just the reality of it. And you will get some wonderful opinions, and you will get some terrible opinions that will stay with you. So I feel like just, coming to terms with that, and that's the part of the deal when you're a writer, is like, the sooner you come to terms with that, the better. The easier the writing gets, I think, when you're not in your head about, oh, what are people going to think about this?
Mm-hmm.
I want to reiterate something you said, Stephen, that the consistencies build authenticity, which is kind of an odd thought, because I would think most authors' initial gut would say, well, inconsistencies are more flawed and we're all flawed, and so that's more authentic. But people can't feel your authentic message, whatever it may be, if the story and the structure doesn't make sense. And it feels less authentic because it feels like it hasn't been sitting inside you as long, that you haven't cooked it up the right way. and it comes across, oh, they rushed this, or they failed in this way because they weren't in tune with their own story or their own nonfiction book. And it feels a little odd from the writer's perspective, but that's how it comes across.
Yep. 100%. It has to be, you have to have those consistencies there. It is a unspoken promise that you make as an author to your reader, that you have done your due diligence and that you will be consistent throughout this entire book with the rules that you have established. And if you break that promise and you break that trust, it is very, very hard to recover from that.